All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to The Gathering Spot. We are here at this wonderful place that we gather to talk about business, to talk about politics, to talk about society, to socialize, but also to really just have meaningful conversations about what's going on in our society. So tonight we have a wonderful conversation that we're going to have, an important discussion that we're going to have. And so, in accordance with COVID rules, we don't have a full house in here tonight because we wanted to make sure that we could practice social distancing. Everyone is required to wear a mask and to make sure that you stay in COVID protocols. But we are broadcasting across a number of channels, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the City of Atlanta's Comcast Channel 26. It's just that important, the conversation that we're going to have. And we have these important guests, these wonderful people that have served Atlanta for many, many years, that have taken out this time to be able to communicate to us and to everybody that's watching. They are vital to the discussion that we're having today. And I thank you all for, when I called you, you answered the call and said, yes. You said outstanding, as always. And so this is the type of conversation that we want to be able to have to move our city, our metro area forward. And so right now I'm allowing those of you that are joining at 7 o'clock for you to get your technology in order, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, how are you figuring out to watch us? And I'm giving you a moment to be able to do that. As I stated, I'm thankful for Ryan Wilson and the rest of the team here at the Gathering Spot for hosting us and setting us up. I'm thankful to my team. I'm thankful to each and every person that came out today and all of you that are watching, because this is very critical. My name is Andre Dickens. I am an Atlanta City Councilman. I serve as the chairman of the Transportation Committee. I am a native of Atlanta, and I live and breathe this city. And I wanted to make sure that we got together today to have this discussion. As all of us know, across the metro Atlanta region, we have seen an increase in crime. And this is not different than what we've seen across other metro areas, but let's face it, no one here wants to hear about what's happening in other metro areas. We're talking about what's going on here. And so in Atlanta right now, we have a challenge, and we have the challenge fighters that are here and many others out in the community. And so rather than just having a conversation where we tisk and talk about things as though we don't have a hand in it and how we can't resolve it, I did some research and I had some communications, and I came and visited you guys, as I'll introduce Gary later, and I've been talking to folks, and we want to see how we can reduce crime in the city of Atlanta. But it's not just for crime's fighting's sake, it's for the sake of giving people opportunities to have a full life, to have the quality of life that we all deserve, and to grow from there. And so as we talk about, in some areas, some crime has gone down. Some types of crime have gone down, but the type of crime that everybody's worried about are the crimes that affect people: murders, aggravated assaults, armed robberies, etc. These crimes have escalated even in the midst of COVID-19. We've had a tremendous challenge in 2020. I thank God that all of us are still here, and I mourn for those who we've lost over this past year. And so in this time, in this conversation, we want to talk about solutions. We're going to talk a little bit about the root cause of what has occurred. We want to talk a bit about poverty. We want to talk about inequality and all these other contributing factors, of course. And then I want to be very clear. I'm not laying all of the crime in Metro Atlanta at the feet of youth. I don't want that to be this conversation. Youth are not all of the crime. Right now, we have people that are coming to Atlanta to have fun, to cause trouble, to commit crimes, and all of the above. So it's not just youth crime that is causing the issues that we have. But I figure we start this conversation here because these individuals have a future ahead of them. And the challenges that they facing are challenges that we've all faced. Once upon a time, I was a teenager. And so I know their challenges, right? Born and raised here, each and every last one of us. So I wanted to just start with that welcome. I welcome you to this discussion. Those of you that are on Facebook, chat away. Those of you that are on YouTube, chat away. Share your ideas. My staff is in there. They'll answer some questions. And so now I want to go ahead on and introduce this outstanding panel that we have here today. These folks said yes. These are my friends, but I want to make sure I do them proper justice by introducing them the right way. All right, everybody ready for what we're going to do tonight? All right, so to my left is my friend and my frat brother, Sheriff Pat Labatt. It feels good to call you Sheriff. Sheriff Labatt and I have shared many memories together, much time together. Sheriff Labatt was the former chief of corrections in the city of Atlanta, but now he is the 28th sheriff of Fulton County. He's been in public service and public safety for 30 years. He's a graduate of Clark Atlanta University and a graduate of Frederick Douglass High School here in Atlanta, Georgia. So we are excited to have him and his reputation for motivating his workforce through active and engaged hands-on leadership is second to none. I've seen it in person. I've seen him lead his staff. I've seen him out in the community taking care of people, the least of these, and always with a dedicated and soft approach, but also very tough to get things done. So y'all give it up for Sheriff Pat Labatt. All right, next we have our new DA, our new district attorney, Fani Willis. She is the district attorney for Fulton County, which is the state's largest county and the home of over 1 million Georgians. That's big, y'all. Fani is a career trial lawyer and with deep and broad prosecutorial experience. Fani is a proud Bison, graduated from Howard University. We got some Howard people in the audience, and she came to Georgia to go to Emory University School of Law, and she graduated, and she's made Fulton County her home, and she's doing a wonderful thing here, and I just wanted to make sure I had these two individuals here because they are a part of the solution. They're part of the criminal justice system when you talk about the sheriff and then you talk about the DA, and both of them happen to be two individuals that I made sure I endorsed in their most recent campaigns. And so I'm proud of them for where they've reached in this election cycle and that they have a future that's really bright ahead of them and that they're going to serve this county and this region well. Let's give it up for Fani Willis, y'all. Last but definitely not least is Gary Davis, the founder and executive director of the Next Level Boys Academy. Each and every last one of us have been with Gary, been there to check out what's going on at Next Level Boys Academy, and actually he's going to speak on that and how both of these individuals were instrumental in helping that occur. So he is the executive director, and both innovatively mentor boys and young adults, men ages 5 through 25. Mr. Davis has mentored more than 1,000 young men and families through his various programs within the organization. In addition to mentoring and running his nonprofit full-time, Mr. Davis is a philanthropist and motivational speaker. And of course, he is a fellow brother of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. All the three men on this stage are Noops, are Kappa, so it's not by chance, it's just by divine right. So give it up for Gary Davis, y'all. So I just did a brief intro of each one of these individuals. Also in the crowd, we have young men that are participants in the Next Level Boys Academy. We're going to get to them real soon. So first, I want to turn to you, Sheriff. Just give a brief introduction and talk about some of the things that you plan to do in 2021. And, just let us know, get us started.
Well, first of all, good evening. Thank you for having me and us. I'm certainly honored. As you know, and not just to have your endorsement, but to have your support, years of support, as we went through some very challenging opportunities. And you hit the nail right on the head, right? This is not about all youth crime. This is about opportunities, right? And that's the lens I look through, because it could have been me, right? Make no bones about it. I was one left turn or one right turn, one bad mistake from being locked up myself, so I understand. And some people say, why do you say that? I say it because if I can do it, I promise you anybody can do it, right? I keep smart people around me. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. As evidence, right? I'm sitting next to history when it comes to our DA. So I don't need to be the smartest person in the room. I just want to be able to add a little bit to each conversation. And as long as we move in that direction, as long as we understand that there are opportunities, And we create an environment to provide opportunities.
Right.
We can do better. So that's what this is about for me. You hit my introduction on right square on where it needs to be. And so for that, thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to it. I hope this is just the first of many opportunities, because we will continue to grow through this process. And again, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Fonnie?
The history is I'm the first woman DA of Fulton County, and so I'm really proud of that we are coming full circle.
The first woman DA of Fulton County.
And so we're really excited about that, but we're more excited about what we can do. And so the question was your 2021 agenda. I will not take the greatness from this man, but Gary Davis is really a leader in our society. I don't know why he jumped out on faith, but I know that I respect people that jump out on faith. He left his good job, as they like to say, to make sure that he did what was pulling at his heart, which is to have an organization that really supported young people. But if we're just telling the 100% truth or keeping it 100, he did it so that he could help young African-American teenagers. When I was just a deputy at the DA's office and we had all of these cases with these young men coming through, 13 and 17, and they were coming through for crimes we'd had to charge as adults, 13 to 17-year-olds, and I got to put you in jail for a minimum of 10 years. He came into my office to see me and said, I got something else you could do that we could get these people back on the right track. And I didn't know him, but he came with a really good reference, another Kappa brother. Amen. Who said that I could believe in his vision. And so we took a chance on that first kid, but I kind of did it sneaking. Since I'm the DA, I guess I get to say that now. I didn't really have permission to divert this young man to his program to see if there was another way, but you grow weary of just putting people in jail. Thank God that young man ended up being a college student and a successful graduate. And we talking about somebody with an armed robbery charge looking at 10 years. And so through me, always kind of on the low, we privately started sending young men through this program, and it wasn't a 100% success rate. That would be a lie. But it was so much of a success rate that it put something in me. And so if you ask me about my 2021 plan, we plan to start 2 diversion programs, one specifically targeted for youth, where we use programs like Gary that are proven, not people just trying to make some money, and send people through so that instead of having to send them to prison, they can turn their lives around. But I think the most important part of the plan is I'm tired of seeing Gary on the back end after somebody has already been victimized and hurt. And so what I'd like this discussion, part of it to be today, is how do we catch people that we can get them in his program and programs like him, although there's not many that are as great or as successful, so that we never have to see them in 10 and lifetime type trouble, because those are the kind of cases I was seeing. And so we're here today. I brought a new deputy to juvenile court because I was so concerned about it. I needed some brilliance that could change around the mess that I was seeing. The other thing that my office has done is created what I call a SB 440 unit. And SB 440s are all of the children, 13 to 17, that will be charged with as adults because they've committed deadly 7 crimes. But we're going to start looking at the full picture of those individuals before we just send them to jail for 10 and a lifetime. It's not that everybody ain't going to get the benefit of that, but at least they're going to be individualized, looked at. And so I'm really excited to hear from the young men in his program and how we can expand that and grow and really push people like you, the city council and the commissioners, to make sure that we're funding the things that work.
Amen.
Absolutely. That's right, Fonnie. Thank you. Thank you for that. Gary?
How's everybody doing? Let me do this. First of all, I would like to publicly announce that I endorse these 2 privately. I don't talk politics.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't talk politics on social media, but I can assure you that I was rooting for you 2. Fonnie gave it away. First, Sheriff Labatt, brother of Cap Alpha Psi. I remember him stopping by during his campaign trail for 30 minutes, and he ended up being there for 3 hours, and 4 hours, yeah, and he came back, and just supported. You know, I was trying to support him in his campaign, but he was supporting the work that I was doing. And to piggyback on what D.A. Willis said, I remember 5 years ago, I was at a place with the organization and what I was just doing after school and summer camp. I was in a place of complacency. I was in a place where felt like that I wasn't doing enough. And I reached out to my good frat brother, Gabe Banks. I said, hey man, I know y'all want to do something. I'm tired of turning on the news, seeing black and brown males going to prison, especially these young men they're good young men who are caught in bad situations. What can I do? He said, hey man, listen, I'm going to connect you with Fonnie. I'm going to connect you with Judge Lovett, God bless his soul. And I met with Fonnie, went to the DA's office, I'll never forget. She drilled me as though I was, I did something wrong. I'm like, man, this lady is crazy. And, so she screened me as I was talking, and she thought I didn't see that. But she had somebody to go back and make sure I ain't killed nobody and all that good stuff. And she trusted it. She took a risk on it. Our very first student was Kimara Averett. He was facing 25 years in prison. Finally took a risk on him. He eventually was a tight end at Louisville, University of Louisville. He was Lamar Jackson's main target. Kamari will, at some point, probably if not this year, next year, be in the NFL draft. And he's definitely working on that plaque and that letter from Ms. Willis for giving him that opportunity. And I would be remiss if I not acknowledge my wonderful team. One of the things that you don't see on social media a lot is the people that are working behind the scenes. We're blessed to have 45 mentors, men and women, who are law enforcement, entrepreneurs, educators, corporate America, athletes, entertainers, whatever you want. I have a wonderful team of young men that's standing right here in front of us. They run our Next Level Success Academy, where we have partnered with corporate sponsorships that every young man in Next Level Boys Academy is to start their own businesses, and they're going to fund it. And so these young men right here on the cameras, they're running that. But if my team is here, would you please stand real quick? If you're a part of Next Level Boys Academy, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And if you're not standing up, I don't claim you either. So, and I got the young men right here in front of me. We're going to run it in a few minutes, man. Let's go ahead and get all this out the way, and we're going to dive in. Now, we got all these cameras on, so it's not my job to beep. It's their job, all right? Amen. Cool? All right.
Cool. Well, we also, and we're going to get to this, but Gary also has Union City police officers in the audience and other respected individuals that contribute to your program on a weekly basis, correct?
Yes, that is correct. The interim assistant chief, Gloria Hodson, will you please stand? She's been committed to the organization for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. She's been there faithfully every weekend. And I wanted to call her name, but I didn't. I'll let you do that because once you start calling names, man, you forget you're in trouble. But thank you so much, Assistant Chief. We're going to claim that for you.
Amen.
Well, before we get to talk to these individuals, I did want to ask y'all just some questions about, what does it mean if we reduce or eliminate youth crime? Fonnie, you talked about, a young man having 10 years that he was facing. You guys talked about the very first client that y'all kind of collaborated on was facing 25 years. And when you accumulate years and years and years in a community, and some of them live in the same neighborhood, some of them live in adjacent neighborhoods. Just what kind of effect does that have when you have hundreds of individuals facing 10, 20 years and no end in sight and the community suffers? Just if we could, wave a magic wand and in 2021 we were to solve these problems, just what do you think that would mean to the community, to you, Fonnie, and also to you, Sheriff Labatt, and then to you, Gary?
I think if we're fair, we have to look at it from both ends. I'm a prosecutor, so we got to look at victims. What is sad is that what I have never lost sight of, and I hope that my lawyers do not lose sight of, is that each one of those files represents several human lives. It represents the person accused, and we need to give them fairness and when we're looking at. But it also represents someone that has been victimized. And so that is why it is so important to me. I told Gary when we came in here, I am at a point in life where I realize we cannot prosecute or police our way out of this mess. And so I think that the reason me and Sheriff Labatt are here is that we want to actively be involved in making sure people never go down this route.
Right.
Because the reality is, if you're 15 years old and I lock you up for 10 years, by the time you get out on an armed robbery, you're going to do 90%. So you're going to do 9 years of that. And that's the minimum time we're talking about, not the maximum. So if things go well for you, you're going to get out of prison at 24 years old. The world is going to have passed you by. If you just think about technology for 2 years. And it doesn't just impact you, it impacts your mama and everyone that was around you. And so we lose everything great you would put into society. And so we've got to stop it before it starts. But we also leave in society a traumatized victim that also is of no benefit. And so I think it is very important that we start having these discussions. And really more interesting than all of us is listening to the youth of what is it can we do to make sure that this life is not as attractive to you and that you understand that it ain't nothing cool about going to see the sheriff at Wright Street. I go and visit, and I don't want to be there for the hour or two that I'm there. No offense, Sheriff,
No, I got you.
but I'd rather go any place on the planet than go visit where you keep people.
They shaking their head too. They like, man, no. I ain't trying to see Wright Street.
And so I think that we got to start figuring out how to not talk about the glamour part of this life, but the reality of where you really end up and how unpleasant that is.
Sure.
Well, from my perspective, and I look through a different lens because I'm forced to. I think Coach put it best when I was visiting one session, and he said, "Listen, you know, it's one thing to give somebody a second chance, but if you hurt or harm somebody inside my county, visiting or otherwise, I'm coming to see about you. That's my job. That's my job." The DA is absolutely right. We have to get in front of something. We want to wrest our way out of this. But every time something like that happens, you ruin multiple families.
Right.
You know, and so that puts us in a position where I am responsible for the safety and security of our citizens. 1.1 million people should feel safe where they work, live, and play. And then this is what I remind some of our youth when we have an opportunity, especially when it comes to some of the activities. You know, what if that was your mama? What was that, your sister, your brother, that somebody went out there and jacked, somebody went out there and hurt, right? You would want some level of, I don't want to say retribution, because I think that's a wrong approach, Coach, but you would want some justice in some way, some shape, way, fashion. And so to that point, we want to treat people like they're human, and so there's an opportunity. But the other component, right, has to be the mental health component that comes along with automatically facing these time, 90%, or the part about us getting to a space where some people feel entitled to the point that, and I heard Coach say, and let me tell you, I think Coach has absolutely one of the best programs in the country. I said that. I have bragged on you since the day I sat in there for 15 minutes, what was supposed to be my stop, and 4 hours later. It's something that we all need to gravitate toward. But to be in that space and understand that people do need a second chance, right? But those second chances come because you take a risk on people, right? Whether you know it or not, right? I know you know it, but you put your reputation out there. And so from a law enforcement perspective, it affected me totally different. From a different perspective, because my whole thing was we locking everybody up. We locking everybody up. We seen you 901 Wright Street, your folks can come see about you, and that's not the place you want to teach a lesson. That's the best way I'll put it from that perspective. But so thank you. I publicly want to say thank you. And so with that opportunity, anytime we have an opportunity to have a conversation like this, we get better.
Yeah.
And so that's the lens that I want not just my team to look through, but to understand that everyone's human. Everyone is able to make a mistake. We just have to get in front of that, like Madam DA said, so it won't be a life-ending mistake.
Yeah. Before I go to Gary, I wanted to say I appreciate y'all for bringing the concern of the victim into this conversation. it is easy to forget sometimes that there's somebody else on the other side of the activity that takes place, the crime that takes place. Not only that person that may be affected, a whole family, and sometimes that family was providing for other families and communities. When a funeral happens, it's hundreds of people. When someone's in the hospital, dozens of people have to visit. We all are connected to somebody. So bringing the victim into this conversation is very real. It humanizes it. This is not just to sympathize with somebody that made a wrong decision. It is two lives that are affected. One life is gonna sit down at Rice Street and somewhere else for a long time, and another life may be injured or killed. And so, Gary, I wanna go to you right before you go to the young men and have the conversation. First, talk about how you go into the court system and, be able to work with the DA or work with the judge to ask for the opportunity to lead this young man into the right direction. I want you to bring that to the table.
Well, yes. Well, first of all, it takes a DA such as DA Willis to even consider that, to have the love and the respect to give a young man a second chance. One of the things that we do is I typically recruit or seek the young men who are first offenders, because I know that with that age, because of their brains are not fully developed, that they're going to just do crazy stuff. And unfortunately, sometimes that crazy stuff is crime. So imagine if we all got punished the first time we did something wrong. I don't think anybody in this room would be here. So I think that's one of the things that DA Willis noticed and realized. And so what I do is I do what I call an integrated summary. I go out, and when I interview this young man in jail, or whether he's in my office, it's as real as I can get. And the thing about it is, and I stress this, we're going to give you a second chance, and the universe is going to reward you when we go to courts. Because what DA Willis has done in Fulton County is in every metro county now. Okay, it's also in North Carolina. It's also in Alabama.
What you're saying is together, this was started, and now it's grown.
When it works in Fulton County, it works anywhere in the world. Everybody says that. If it's working in Fulton County, but she put it in motion and she took a risk on it, just like I do every day. And we got to meet with some people in Tampa, Florida next month. They want it. And the advantage now is that we're virtual. So we have 3 or 4 young men that's in the program I've never met physically. I interviewed them on the virtual call in the jail. I went to court with them virtual, and they're in total different states. But you look at this table right here, this young man that's sitting here, and if I could just guess the numbers in my head, that's 150 years of prison time on a low end, right there. And
that's a table of 5.
That's just 5 on a low end. And what I thought about, Sheriff Labatt, was and if my calculation is wrong, since the 5 years that she put this in office, we are a little below 500,000 years of prison time.
Oh, man. Wow.
500,000 years of prison.
So in those years, you're thinking about fathers, you're thinking about uncles, you're thinking about people's children. And one of the things that we've done that I'm still kind of watching him a little bit, he's a noob, is that we got to address his mental health, man. We need a pot of money just to put in our mental health department. Mm-hmm. So we got Dr. Jasper, who's coming on board. He's a good brother who's able to connect with these young men and their families. But I think, we got future leaders. I remember DA Willis said to me, we keep locking everybody up. I don't know who my daughter's gonna marry. Everybody going to jail. So we had to, I have sons of my own that are in college or going to college, but I just wanted to give them a second chance, man. And some of them took advantage of it. Some of them will try me, and we go to court, and you go into prison. And I'm gonna say this again publicly. If you pull a gun on somebody in Fulton County, as much as she's saying all this good stuff, she's gonna send you to prison. And I got somebody that's at this table that I remember meeting with DA Willis some years ago who said, I think he's a good kid, Gary, but he got to go to prison first. So he went to prison, did his 3 years, and you diverted the other years to me. So he's at the table now. He want to tell you publicly thank you. But she sent him to prison first, smiled and everything. Oh, I think he's a good kid, but he got to go sit down for a minute. So if you're in Fulton County, if you don't live in Fulton County, you come to Fulton County and you pull a gun on somebody, she believes in next level, but ain't no problem. She's going to send you to prison. So just be careful about your actions, be careful about your moves, and we go from there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I appreciate you sharing that because people need to know that it's not just everybody's just going to get off because there are victims on the other side. You pull a gun on somebody, there is some some consequences to that. You're responsible for your actions, and she's going to settle the consequences for you. So I kind of gave him some guiding principles on why we wanted to have this conversation. So he's going to talk to these young men and get some information so that everybody will kind of hear their story and how Gary has helped them in this tribe of individuals that keeps growing. And this is how it is when you go on Saturday. So this program is throughout the week, and it's virtual in the evenings now, of course, due to COVID. But then on Saturdays, we're in person. So on Saturdays, 40, 50 young men and their support system are all in place, and everybody gets to air out each other's dirty laundry. I mean, we was in there, and Gary was like, go on and tell them what you in here for. I tried to rob a bank, or I pulled a gun on somebody, and I'm like, wow. And we're just right out in the open talking about these things. Or I'm accused of doing these things, right? So today we wanted to talk a little bit because that's the atmosphere on Saturday. It's not, like Sheriff Labatt said, you go there for like 30 minutes. Like we go to a lot of organizations. We go to a lot of camps, a lot of places to say hello, to say our thing, to let them know who we are and that they can call on us. But once you go into this program on a Saturday morning, you don't just go in and go out. You are compelled, you are drawn in, and you want to hear more and do more and serve more. So today, Gary's going to talk to them about, some of the root causes of youth crime, some of the effective prevention strategies, which we've already heard some of them, but also effective intervention measures. So, once if they've gotten involved, how to get them out. But then there's prevention stuff that we really want to hear, like Fonnie talked about. Parents' early indications of gang affiliation. How do a parent identify like what's happening early on, and then just how to escape, how to get out of this stuff? So Gary, I'm going to give you 30 minutes of this, and we can chime in as we want to, guys. But I want Gary to kind of share and draw out of this so that individuals in our county that are listening will know a little bit about what's going on with young men in our community. Gary? Thank
you, Councilman Dickens. I don't really, he gave me this paper, man. Y'all know I can't follow this shit, man. So what I'm going to do is, I got my young men here on the front row, man, and I'm going to feel your energy for a minute, but one of the things I want to do, Jamar, and I'm going to start with you, man. You was that dude that I met with you at the jail. You was like, bro, I just want to get out of here. Because you thought, grab the mic from me real quick, Jamar. At first you thought I was the police, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I really want you to be you. That's why, that's why we're here. But tell us about it. What was you charged with, man?
I was charged in Fulton County with armed robbery. Well, I got indicted on armed robbery, aggravated assault, commissioned on a felony, and possession of firearms.
Right, and when you told us what you did, you was blessed to come out of there for three years, man. But one thing I know is what Ms. Willis has done, DA Willis has done, is now you're probably the spokesperson. Every event we go on, man, you've been there. What was that? How old were you when you went to prison?
I was charged in Fulton County when I was 20 years old, and I sat in Wright Street for 19 months. So I had turned 21 hours. So I was 21 years old when I went to prison, and I got out when I was 24.
Gary, do me a favor. Tell what an ag assault is. Kind of explain what the charge is.
Well, I didn't go to law school. I'm still waiting on them to give me an honorary DA, honorary law degree. So because I don't like school like that, but I don't think. But what better person knows than the DA what that is? Aggravated assault. So let me just ask this, DA Willis. When someone commits an armed robbery, what's all included in that?
Well, the armed robbery charge alone, he'd be looking at 10 to life. The aggravated assault, he'd be facing 20. That would be to follow the 10 to life. On top of, in addition to. The possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony is what I think I heard him say would be another 5. And so if those were his 3 charges, He was facing life plus 25.
At 20 years old. Now, what you did, you was lucky. You was lucky to be alive, and when I figure out how you was trying to rob somebody and shooting somebody, one thing I knew that you was a little scarier than what you were back then. I think you with that smoke now. But going to prison at such a young age, man, what was that like, man?
It was life-changing. I mean, I'll never forget it. But I'm just blessed I ain't have to go for as long as I just did 3 years instead of having to do 10, mandatory minimum.
What have your experience been like since you've been at Next Level Boys Academy?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it really helped me since I've been out. I only been out for going on 15 months now. Been released from prison. So, man, the whole time just been with the Next Level program, and it's just been helping me out, man, just having a place to talk, and I always got somebody to listen to and somebody to hear you out.
You know, you always say it all the time, and it's funny where they say they when they're 18, they call 17-year-olds babies or little kids. But you said these 2,000 babies, they wilding out, man.
Yeah, man.
So when you think about this, and I want the world to hear this, because we're getting ready tonight to create a blueprint for the United States of America. But when you think of these young men that's out here in Atlanta that's doing some of the things that they're doing, man, what do you think the cause of that is?
Man, they ain't got no guidance. It's really young niggas leading young niggas. So it's, feel me, crack.
Everybody say, man, ain't nobody scared to go to prison.
Yeah, I say that too.
Really? What was the craziest thing you saw down there, man?
Saw my bunkmate get killed, no fine. Nigga really died. Nigga really got killed.
What was the craziest thing happened to you?
Oh, I got hit. We had it was a ride, so everybody went to war. And I ended up getting hit upside the head with a lock and the sock. Went to the hospital. But other dudes, they had and got stabbed up, and you see, I ain't got nothing. My face still. I seen nigga teeth, eyes, all that. That shit, they don't come back the same.
So you one of those people that said, man, that ain't what I want. Prison's not what I want.
Oh yeah, hell nah, I'm straight.
If you had to go back and live this thing called life all over again, these preventive measures we're talking about, what could you have benefited in your life that probably would have prevented you from going to prison?
The biggest thing, probably a male role model, somebody who really just showed me cause I was just freestyling. I ain't really nobody showing me shit, so yeah. I'm just
Is it really, because you're from Atlanta or you from Decatur? Because it's two different cities.
I moved to Atlanta when I was about 8 years old.
Out of all these men that's in the city, you never had a role model?
Nah. Niggas.
Wow.
What you was gonna say, Pat?
So, Coach, quick question. I'm going to be selfish here. Thank you, brother, for being honest, right? I'm going to be selfish. So, the first 19 months at 901 Rice Street, I'll follow what Coach said. What was the worst thing you saw there?
Man, Rice Street different, right? Rice Street worse than some of the prisons I've been to, honestly. On the upstairs on Rice Street. The worst thing I seen in Rice Street is somebody get stabbed up, though, in the county jail. Then, mind you, this is my first time ever going to jail. I ain't never been arrested before. So I faced a life sentence my first arrest. So just everything was brand new to me. So actually seeing somebody, like they stabbing in the county, like I wasn't really, that's why I said Rice Street worse than some prisons.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You know, all this shit about my homie, my bro, my brother, my gang brother, my whatever the hell you want to call them. And I think, you know, I just don't understand. And D.A. Willis will tell you now, I haven't met anybody that's going to take 25 years for somebody else. I haven't met anybody. And when you get them in this little secluded room and ask them to say something, they just don't tell on them. They're going to take you where you live, where your grandmama live. Do you need a social security number? They're going to give you that as well.
Where they baby mama at?
Where they baby mama at. And you know you're going to go over there hiding under the bunk bed. But I want to bring this young man up. Very, now this is going to be interesting. When I met him, he had got kicked out of college. Was in one of I think he was like in his position, number 1 or 2 in the state of Georgia. Wow. Went to college on a football scholarship, was doing well. Get there, get caught up in some shit, right? So His mom calls, say, hey, listen, he got kicked out of school. He don't want to listen. I don't want to do nothing I can't do nothing with him. Will you help him? I said, I'll try. So when I met him, and it was a great kid. I couldn't really understand that. And when I met him, he came, this young man now, just to give you his story, I'm going to bring you up in a few minutes. Because we didn't give up on him, he didn't go to prison. He's now a father, a husband of a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids, a 1 or 2-year-old son with a daughter that's less than a year old. Kamar, grab the mic, man, and bring your homeboy with you real quick, man, if you can. You got your homeboy with you? Yeah, go get your homeboy. I want y'all to meet Kamari's homeboy. Now, Kamari's homeboy was about that life, Andre. His homeboy was that dude who said, you know what? I don't want to hear nothing my mama got to say. I don't want to hear none of that shit. His homeboy was about that life. Like, for real about. When I say about that life, like, on that gang, I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff. So, he want to bring his homeboy in today. Get your homeboy, come up
Put him
front
on the
with
table.
the mic, man.
Yeah, that's your homeboy in there.
That's your homeboy. Bring your homeboy up. Take him out. Take him out. Meet his homeboy. That's about that life. His bro. His brother. You know, great mom, great dad, and all this stuff while his homeboy's getting together. His mom is in the audience back there. Captain is consoling her. All this stuff, man, about single-parent household. This young man had both mom and dad in the house. Get your mic, Kamara. Tell us a little bit about your homeboy, man. Come up front. You come up front. We social distance, man. You can't come up on me now. You ain't give you no test. I don't know what you got going on.
Really like my dog. You know what I'm saying? You really got some partners you go through. You really learn how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? You become a criminal with them. Different stuff. Y'all just help each other out along the way. You know what I'm saying? You always need somebody who's gonna be your crutch. You know, I met Amari in alternative school. We both had got kicked out of school at the same time. Similar story, getting into the same amount of business around the same people. Everything was just relevant to the situation. Amari died when we was young. We was about 13. Amari died when we was young. I don't know, like, when somebody around you die, you become numb to the situation and the pain because it's relevant. It's always coming. It's just like if you wake up on the same type of music every morning, you're gonna have the same routine. I mean, you're gonna feel the same. It's like.
So when you think of, because you was terrible in middle school and high school.
Yeah, I was.
Like really, really terrible, right?
Yeah.
When you think about the young people that's in the gang stuff and doing all this stuff in middle school and high school,
Yeah.
why?
Man, no, it just depends on your situation. Everybody, you gotta stop pinpointing every situation on every kid because everybody is different. You can't really say that this kid does not pay attention to learning. You can't blame that on every kid. A lot of folks I know really smart. They had A's and B's. They just chose to do wrong on their own. Like me, my mama was good, you feel me? My house was straight. I just chose to do wrong on my own by following behind other people and role models who I thought was the way to go. And it ain't really necessarily got to be a street guy. I mean, everyday men got bad tendencies and bad behaviors. That does not make you a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not perfect, but you got to know who to follow by and what to go with.
Wait a minute, y'all was in business in middle school. Y'all was serving, selling, or whatever.
Man, we had middle school, alternative school. That made us better criminals, honestly. It gave us a wider range to be around the people like us, honestly.
What
Gave
does
us
the
feel
14
that we
county
need. That's the
school,
platform.
what does because we have some people in here from the 14 county school system. We need an alternative to alternative school. Sounds like what you're saying.
Yeah, for real. I mean, alternative school, when you go there, you're being supervised because they already know you bad. So when somebody already, it's like dealing with that child is going to come over your house, you already know they bad as hell. You already know you're going to put them in their back room and that's it. You already know what you're going to do with them. That's how I got treated every day. You feel me? You got treated like that every day. You got to come out your shoes. You got to make sure you got no knife on you, but the knife really outside in the bushes. They ain't checking the cameras outside. I mean, everything is relevant.
You lived that life, bruh.
Yeah, for
Went
sure.
to college, got kicked out for drugs, came
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
Beautiful family, man. What
Yeah.
changed you?
I mean, life. I mean, understanding what I wanted out of life. I mean, I had a son. I had to understand if I didn't change, my son was gonna be the next cycle. You gotta understand, you gotta break a curse. You gotta grow up one day. It's just everybody grew up different.
Is it something that you did on your own, or you just had to associate yourself around a certain people?
Shit,
or what?
really, honestly, it really changed me. I mean, everybody around you, you be knowing that everybody go to jail until you in that situation, you take your ass to jail. Then it's a different type of story. Like me, shit, when I met you, they tried to charge me with drug trafficking or distribution and They tried to charge me on the state-to-state line because I was a Georgia native and everything. You know, allegedly of everything I was trying to get charged for, I was gonna sit my ass down. I wasn't gonna be there. I wasn't gonna be there to be able to see him catch him when he fall. It was gonna be another man's job, and I couldn't be able to fight there, and I was gonna never have that. That's over with. I'm a man.
How has
Take care
being a
of me.
part of Next Level, man, impacted your
Save
life,
me.
man?
I mean, I need this. Like, I've been away from y'all probably like, what, about 3 months, and I feel empty inside. I don't really know how to feel day in, day out if I don't watch the class, because I do need y'all, and I know that. And I'm a grown man saying that, you feel me? And I say I'm a grown man because I handle business. I am a grown man.
I got you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I got
It's
you.
like, you know,
But you
we
know
talk.
what's amazing, man,
Yeah.
is that you're the same age as my son.
Yeah, I'm 22 years old.
And you're 22 years old.
Yeah.
And your maturity level, like,
Yeah.
I've just got like 10 cash apps for him on the way here. So
Yeah.
your maturity level, man, is that you have really, really set the example of Next Level. When I think of this young man here, his mom goes everywhere we go. She brings him.
Sure.
You're a friend.
Yeah, my dog.
And all this stuff about, let me ask you this, man, because he was knowingly in the game, all right? I'm not going to ask you that.
Yeah, all right.
How are the gangs winning? Like, what are they offering, man?
It's just like if you married, right? Not necessarily speaking on anybody's situation. It's just like if you married, right? Your side woman or your side man always gonna have with your main.
No, well, if you're married, you don't have that.
Well, that's not what we.
No,
I'm just
hold on.
giving
Give me
an
another
instant.
analogy. No, give me another
Give me
analogy.
another analogy.
Give me,
Okay,
don't,
I'm gonna give you like that. I ain't
shit,
gonna go
don't,
there.
listen,
I ain't
man,
gonna
listen,
go
man,
there.
do
I ain't
not
gonna
put
go
that
there.
shit in no
I ain't
married
gonna go
man.
there. I'm gonna go like this.
I know what
Okay.
you're saying, son.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
switch that shit.
We gonna go like this.
Cut. Let's scratch that. Go ahead, man. Try that again.
It's just like.
No, not no
Okay.
side, bro.
Okay, you go
I know
up
where
your-
you was going, but just take that shit out of there. Let's
Hey,
go
you
with something else,
all right,
man.
you go over your partner house, right?
Right.
You got one partner who gonna always have something to eat. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna always be able to kick it over there. And then you're gonna have your broke partner who ain't never got nothing to eat. It stank over there. His mama ain't never cleaning up. But he got all the answers. He got the video games and everything. So you gonna go over there and kick it and smell all that.
That he stole.
Yeah, you gonna put up with it. Yeah,
Right.
the whole time.
Right.
You wanna play the game. It's just like that. I mean, it's like an outlet. It's like what your parents don't give your parents. I think they, and I just speak this from raising my own children. It's like you focus on what they want so much instead of what they need. It's like you focus on like wanting like, okay, I know that my kid need this shoe for school. I'm looking good. I know they gotta look good. But what about the mental aspect? You know what I'm saying? Like I talk to my son every day. My son 4 years old. I talk to him every day when he get out of school. Ask him how his day was and what he did at school. He gonna always remember that. It's a thought of mine. It's like the presence. You know what I'm saying? It's always the appearance of the presence. Always.
You are the one that changed my whole perception of these wine and cheese black folk
And they ain't about that.
who got access to
Yeah.
a little money.
For sure.
And their kids don't do crazy
They
stuff.
the most crazy kids.
Hold on, man. No, because they went out and got in all this debt in this nice house, this nice car, to please their girlfriends or homeboys who don't even like them like that anyway. How are the good boys getting caught up in this shit, man?
It just depends on what you label as a good boy.
Oh, shit. Well, I don't know any.
I mean, like a good boy to me is not necessarily a person who his parents come from money or he live in a nice neighborhood. That don't mean you're a good boy because you can't control your surroundings. You can't control your mental and how you feel.
What's attracting them though? Because they
It's
got the
the
nice
image.
house.
It's the image. Everything is
Everybody
the image.
wanna be a
Because
thug,
everybody-
but don't
let me
wanna-
tell you something. We got more followers in this world than leaders. And you can see by the people on the panel.
Wow.
You feel me? You got more followers than leaders. Everybody not gonna be a leader. Everybody wasn't designed to be a leader neither. Because that means we have too many armies in the world. You gotta understand that.
What advice would you give these rich people in the wine and cheese community? What advice would you give them or some early signs that their sons would display, whether they're about to wild out, whether they're about to join a gang, whether they're about to flunk out of school? What are some of those signs, man?
First off, you gotta know your kids' parents. You gotta know who they deal with and where they come from. You can't just be letting your kids go anywhere and hang with any type of body. You know what I'm saying? Because I can go to Woodward Academy, but my partner go to Doug, and we on the weekend, we out. We in the city, you feel me? Ain't nobody gonna know the difference. Everybody at the party, everybody kicking it. But we stayed
Don't say
literally 5
Woodward.
minutes from
You
each
got
other.
hold. Don't say Woodward. Don't say Woodward.
Nah, I ain't gonna do it
We got
like
rich.
that.
Hey, we got
Nah,
come on,
I ain't gonna do it like that.
tomorrow. We got rich black folk in here. Don't say
That's right.
Woodward.
Okay, I ain't gonna say no names.
Yeah, let's talk about the other schools that people degrade. Let
Yeah.
me ask you a question, man. I'm asking all of you all this.
Yeah.
What can change what does Atlanta and all the metro area need for young men to just change some of the behaviors, man?
me growing up in the city and being from the city, I think we gotta change our outlets and the approach of them. Like, if we open up a building for kids to come to, we can't hire a security guard or officer who ain't never dealt with kids. You feel me? You can't hire nobody, this is his first time or his first gig, he ain't gonna know how to handle them. Because if that kid coming there with their pants saying, he really may not be a bad kid to cause no trouble, but you just see him as this image, you know? It's always about the image. Like, people perceive me way different than I am. And I know I may be the smartest man in the room because I'm very strategic, you feel me? It's all about how you perceive things. Everything is a perception. The eye is appealing to everything that you see. So we got to change our approach on things. Like, if we open up a building for like kids to go to and actually come out to school and they have like a ID badge or something they can tap to, and as long as you're a native and you live in the city, of course there's going to be qualifications, insurance policy, everything like that matter. But you got to understand, if you're going to go in there and let them be free, let them be free. Like, you can't go in there and tell them walk in a straight line or only use this water fountain because it's not being free back at school.
So Gary, let me ask you, so you didn't need money when you was getting money?
I mean, not
it wasn't like
necessarily
you was
because I had everything that I needed in life to be a kid. When you fall in love with appealing to everything outside of being a kid and growing up too fast, that's when you crash out. Because I wanted things that weren't appealing to me to being 13 or 14. I didn't need true religion. I didn't need watches. I didn't need chain. I didn't need none of that.
Yeah.
That didn't help me with my school. That didn't help me how to be growing to the adult world. That didn't help me nothing that I was doing. It was appealing to the eye. I wanted to look good for everybody else. I was that man.
So your family had provided enough for you to live. You was straight.
Don't get me wrong, let me tell you something. My mother was single half of my life till my stepfather came in. She was single. My mama made it do what it do. Always. We ain't never missed a beat with 3 kids. It's not about that. We had that. It's not what I wanted.
The image you wanted.
It's not what I wanted. Mm-hmm. It's how you can always give your kids what they need, but it's about what they want. Mm-hmm. So if my mom would have came to me, if we would have had that type of relationship, you got to talk to your kids. That's where the relationship part come in. He taught me that. He preaches that. It's the approach and how you talk to your kids. So if she would have came to me and we would have had a type of relationship, I wouldn't even have to go through none of that. She would have been, okay, son, what do you want? Okay, so let's do this. If you want this, let's help you work towards it. Let's go get you a job. Let's go get you a lawnmower. Let's help you cut grass. Let's help you work for it and build for it. Because if you could teach a man how to fish, but you can't always take him fishing.
Right.
You got to teach him how to get it.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, don't forget your homeboy. You know, one of the things that we talked about in the city, man, is these water boys. These water boys, man, they came in, man, they said they done created a dude, they was doing some other stuff. So I got a water boy. Grab your mic, man. You stand over there, and I need you 12 feet. That's double this shit up. More than 6. That's double this shit up. You stand on that side of it, 12 feet. Jamar, what's up, man?
What's going on, Mr. Gary?
Nothing much. Now listen, here's the deal. I don't, and I say this all the time in class, I don't trust juvenile. The ones that's under the age of 17, Sheriff Labatt, they got their own agenda. They don't like structure, they don't like rules. But this one right here, man, he's 16. Looks like he's about to fall out. Are you nervous? Now, you got like 15,000 folk watching this shit, man. Pull your pants up.
Nah, I ain't nervous.
Pull your pants up all the way up. You need another belt?
They all the way up.
Yeah, but we got to keep it 100, man. So let me ask you a question, man. You sold water?
Yes, sir. You said, have I sold water? I said, yes, sir. I have.
You ever? We got a DA in here.
I
We'll
was
say
just
that
about to
Saturday,
DA in the
okay?
room.
Yeah. No. I wasn't gonna ask him nothing like that illegal. But what's the craziest thing you saw on your water sale spree?
I seen a boy run off with somebody's wallet. Where he stuck his whole body in the car and took somebody's wallet as he was trying to.
His whole body in the car.
He put his whole body in the car, like you know how some young boy, it ain't even everybody you fit. Like some young boy, they will run up to your car and be all up on your car. Like, you feel me? That ain't need the way you do it all the time. You ain't gotta always just come up to somebody's car. Sometimes you just need to wait until they see you, then tell you to come to your car. You feel me?
I don't need the instructions. But when y'all jumping y'all little asses in these cars, man, y'all not scared nobody gonna shoot y'all?
Nah, I don't do that. So I ain't
Not you, because you're part of Next Level Boys Academy, and you got the hoodie on to prove it. I'm just talking about some stuff that you saw out there in the streets, man. They're not afraid.
I don't know what they're afraid. I don't know what they feeling. Cause someone someone got firearms they sell. So of course they probably not afraid.
Some of them or all of them?
Some.
He was one of
everybody.
them, so he was the some. Okay.
No.
You got the police up here. Good answer, man. I trained you well. But let me ask you this. Why did you have to sell water, man?
I started selling water so I wouldn't have to go back to the stuff I used to do, and I was trying to find better ways to make money, but that ain't even always a good way to make money either. So now I'm trying to be like a businessman, trying to make my own business.
Are you getting a lot of the Next Level Success Academy?
I joined them, but I don't join them like that. So
Let me ask you a question, man. You're 16 years old. I've never asked you this before.
I used to be 16.
Well, your girlfriend said you was 18, and she's not here tonight. How old are you? Because I think you lied about your age that day, and she caught you in a lie. How old are you? She's not. Is she here?
Nah.
Is she watching this?
Yeah, she watching it.
She's watching it?
Yeah.
Let's keep the lie going. So let's just scratch that so you can have a girlfriend when we get home, okay? So let me ask you this, man. You're 17. Let's remove your age. You're under the age of 19. Can you agree?
Yeah, I'm under the, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Maybe she'll like you after that.
19.
Yeah, because keep that lie going. But let me ask you this, man. I often ask this from the city. It doesn't take a very intelligent person or a mature person to empty the trash can. I wonder why the city of Atlanta doesn't allow young men these days to work for the city in the sanitation department. I think they have the ability. I think they have the courage. I think they're trustworthy, even if they have to come through a screening process of Next Level. So maybe we can give these water boys to work some of these trash trucks to get some trash. I mean, what are you gonna steal? What are you gonna do crazy? Because this is what I learned through you. If you give you guys an opportunity, man, you'll take full advantage of it. But you gotta know that the person that gives you the opportunity really, really care. How has this organization benefited you, man?
It really showed me, like, you don't gotta always focus on trying to do something bad, or you ain't gotta always try to rob somebody, you ain't gotta always try to shoot somebody or do something to try to get fast money. It ain't always good to get fast money. You can get slow money and do good. When you get fast money, it leads you in terrible places like jail or dead.
There's gotta be some consequences, and I'm gonna ask Sheldon this when he come up, but I'll start with you. When you commit a crime, it has to be some consequences. Even through the midst of a diversion program, what are some other alternatives or consequences that you think young men should have other than jail?
Next Level Boys Academy. For them to be able to
Boy, you said that.
Boom.
Now, you know what? You just got me some money when you said that, man. But even with Next Level, man, because what we can't continue to do is let everybody hear about this. 'Cause I get about 10 calls a day from the jail, calling me, hey, man, I heard about that program you guys, Shawty. First of all, you're not coming here because I'm not Shawty and I'm not your homeboy. That's the first X. But what's going to happen, man, is there's got to be some consequences, right?
Yes, sir.
For your actions that you've done because something happened. What do you think should be some other consequences that you should get? Because Next Level is not a consequence, it's a privilege.
Yeah, it ain't a consequence.
So what should be the consequence of some of these crimes, man? Help us out. Help the world out. You're 17.
I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Please do.
Some kids around my age, you can't just let them just be free. Someone you gotta let them see the jail and see how it feel to be locked up. See how it feel to do things not on your own time, but on somebody else's time. See how it feel to wake up on somebody else's time. You don't want to always do that. You want to be able to do what you want to do and be able to leave somewhere and go somewhere when you want to go somewhere. So jail is an option for some folk, but it ain't always for everybody. Jail not for everybody.
One of the things that's damaging you guys is social media. I know D.A. Willis and them, they just pull up your Instagram name that y'all think y'all got a password on it. And you was beginning to go the different route on Instagram. We have an Instagram security team here. We watching everybody's social media. So you got on there and you was doing some crazy stuff, man. And I want to acknowledge you publicly by just deleting it. Now, you delete it from your page, but they'll tell you it never goes away, okay?
Yeah, it don't. I know
But
that.
I thank you so much, man, because here's what I want you to understand, that you're not what your social media creates you to be.
Oh, nah.
Okay? So social media is a place that, it's like the number one place that, it's like the best place to tell a lie, right? So, and it's a place that you only give the good stuff. But when I saw you on your social media, and I know that that's not what we stand for, we don't do stuff like this on social media, you took it off, man. And thank you for that. But you gave me a little hesitation about it. Why is social media so important to young men your age?
Social media is really like a drug. It's addictive. So when you're on social media, it ain't just like you just try to get rid of it easy. You gon' eventually go back to it because you're addicted to being on social media. Just like Instagram, all that, you're addicted to it. That's what you always like.
And you're not doing this because you're part of Next Level, but why post the guns, the weeds, and the body? Why put that shit on social media, man? Why?
I don't know why they.
Not you.
I ain't finna put nothing like that on social media.
No, you're not, because you know I know better. But what I'm saying is this: you've heard about it.
Oh yeah.
No,
but
Gary,
you
when-
snitching on yourself when you do that.
When we was there last time, they was talking about retaliation, and somebody was on somebody's grave on Instagram, like, you know, peeing on it or whatever, and they like filming it, like showing like, I did this or this my work or whatever. And I'm like, why would you? That's immediate.
I can speak on that. They
Hold on, but you're not gonna speak no shit you did.
Nah,
right?
nah, that's
okay, cool. All right, just check.
We don't snitch on ourselves.
Nah, it just folk do that so they can get like stained or like to be like to get like folk to really focus on it and be like treat them like a big dog. Because that's what folks normally want to be, big dogs. But big dogs ain't always the one that do terrible stuff. Big dogs folk that show you right from wrong. Big dog the one that like lead you in right direction. Like Mr. Gary, he's a big dog. Like all y'all big dogs because y'all leaders. You feel me? Y'all show folks right from wrong. Y'all showing how to really get where you want to be.
You from Atlanta?
Now I'm from Atlanta.
No, you're
born
not
and
from
raised.
Decatur. You from the real Atlanta. All that
Born
other
and
stuff
raised.
just play, right? When I interviewed you, man, you said that you never had a male role model. You never had a mentor.
Oh, no, I ain't never had a male role
That
model.
type of stuff is just so baffling to me. Because I think, so I do this workshop, it's called the Recipe to Mentoring, because I think most people just get mentoring confused. Like you got to take them to McDonald's and feed them. No. Mentoring, 90% of your job is just showing up. I don't follow these kids home. I don't live with them. But to stand in front of them every Saturday and meet with them, because we have a team of mentors. And I'm going to say this to you, that when you look at the 3 nights that we meet, Monday on Zoom, Wednesday on Zoom, Saturdays in person, and their mentors are connecting with them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're getting touches 5 days a week, 6 days a week. 6 days a week. So if you maneuver in that, then you a career criminal. That's why our success rate is so high, because they get in touches 6 days a week, man, and we stay on them. I appreciate you, man. You did a lot better because you was terrible the last interview, man. Thank you so much,
Hold on,
bro.
let me say something before I sit back down. Let me bring it to public.
Do what you do.
Okay, so Miss Gary, you is like a father, like you is a male role model of me. So like I look up to you, so you show me like I don't gotta do bad. So that's why I really don't do what I used to do. And like I know that I don't gotta go back to the old me. I can do better things, and I know that you say you gonna help us like start business and all that. Like it ain't even just about that. You just trying to show it like you don't gotta always keep trying to go back to jail. And like you real like some folk they just be about to talk. Like you feel me? Like you can talk all day, but hey, actions speak more than words. You feel? And you show action. You don't just talk. You show what you talk about.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey,
One
I'm
more,
gonna bring
Gary. Give me
Aditya
one
up
more.
real quick. How much time we got?
Get one more, because this is
One more.
good.
Come up real quick, Aditya. I'm gonna share your time. 5 minutes, you can bring Sheldon up. Young man here, because of D.A. Willis put the program in place. You got a very intelligent young man was an armed robbery, was heading to prison. Man, how mom and dad in the house, all this stuff that they need 2 parents in the house, mom and dad in the house. Real quick, man, just how has the organization impacted your life, man? And tell me some of the amazing things that's happened for you?
Over the past 3 years, I've been a part of the Next Level Boys Academy. And over the past 3 years, it's been nothing but change. You know what I'm saying? Change for my life, my family life, because they see what Mr. Davis have put inside of me. Man, I really love you, man. I'm not even gonna, I don't want to cry on you or nothing like that, but I love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
In this program, I've opened up my own lawn care service, Dreams to Reality Lawn Care Service, and the reason why is the way it is right now is because of Next Level Boys Academy, because of Mr. Gary just mentioning just me. He just mentioning me. So that's how it helped me. Also, in 2017, I was facing 25 years, but because of Mr. Gary and because of all the great people that surrounded the program and the lawyers and all that, I was fortunate enough to get a special sentencing, I can say, where I go to school, I go to Kennesaw State University, and in the summertime, I go to jail. And I have and I got to finish this before I graduate. I'm a uprising junior, and
You remember this?
I remember this.
You see what you did? See what you took a risk on?
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sheldon, come up real quick, man. This is it. Sheldon, about 2 or 3 minutes. Young man, what was your charges real quick, man? Tell us your charges, how many years you facing. Good looking, sharp young man. What was your charges, man?
I was in Clayton County. I had aggravated assault, 2 aggravated batteries, and 2 possession of firearms.
How many years was that?
77.
77. What is your thoughts of Next Level Boys Academy, man?
It's a way out. Just to put it like that, it's a way out. It's another route. I mean, you look at everything different. You're not gonna make the same decisions you was making back in the day when you was doing wrong no more. Cause you got so many people in your ear telling you positive things, the right things to do, different routes to go. I mean, you can't make the wrong decision with this program.
Thank you, man. So, do I switch it up a little bit? Am I all the same? Do I talk different when the sheriffs and the police?
Nah, it's the same. You the same person. Like in the jail, in the courtroom, in class, whether we going out to eat, I mean, it's the same coach.
Thank you, man. And I do it for you guys. The most important thing is to make sure that y'all are comfortable. I have a sweatshirt that says, "Be you." They'll adjust. Thank you so much,
hold
man.
on. I want to get a little bit more specific. What about it? Tell me some of the specifics about how. So you were facing 77 years. You obviously was involved in something that you allegedly wanted to get out of, and then they took a chance on you. Well, she was not Clayton, but he took a chance on you, and then you go to this program. Tell me what specifically about brotherhood or the conversation?
I mean, not even just brotherhood. I mean, this program, it helped me grow as a man. It helped me be a better son. I mean, it helped me be a better son to my mom. It helped me it just helps you grow. Like, it just helps you grow into a model citizen. Like, to what you, it helps you really unlock your full potential. Like,
So what he's asking you was, he was incarcerated. They released him with a condition of his bond was to attend Next Level Boys Academy. And the first thing I say to you when you get out is to do what? Trust what?
Process.
Trust the process. So he stayed in the program longer than 12 months. We went back to court a few months ago, and they let him stay here instead of sending him to prison for 77 years.
Gotcha. That's it. Okay. So you had to commit.
Absolutely.
Because if you fall off, what happens, Gary, when they don't...
If you get out, I'm gonna say this in front of the DA.
And you go sit down now. Go ahead.
If they bond you, if they allow you to come here to Next Level as a condition of your bond, and you go out and commit another crime while you out on bond, don't even call me, because I help support you go to jail. So you're right. He allowed this to happen because in 12 months, he didn't pick up another charge, and he allowed us to do what we do. Now, here's what I know about these great people here who I've learned to know over the years. If you give them the tools to beat you with, they gonna beat your ass. So I advise you, they love you, they care about you. They're here with me, you see this. Go tell your homies. Share this on social media tonight. If you give them the tools to beat you with, they are going to beat you. But they believe in second chances, man. They really, really do.
Labat, sure.
Here's a question, if you all will give me one-word answers, right? It's beyond the next level, though. There is something about Coach that appeals to more than just you, but, and let me tell you what I'm getting at. As mentors, right, holistically, there is something that some people miss. But what is the one thing about Coach that gets through to you?
One thing that just get through me is that he keep it real. He keep it 100 at all times.
Okay.
No matter where you at.
Basically, accountability partner. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you straight in the line.
I'm gonna go with what Jamari said about how real he is. I mean, he just don't switch up. It's the same coach.
I feel like it's the aspect that he don't really put no press on you. He don't really just be in your face like that, but he gonna let you know like what you need to do and when you need to do it.
I say unjudgmental and compassion.
That's good.
That's important.
If y'all could put up this next slide that I had with AV folks, and as they're pulling that up, Gary, give me 60 seconds on crash dummies. So when I be there, man, he talk about how some kids are just crash. Y'all see that? Y'all laughing over here? Crash dummies. It is a concept that adults need to hear about. Crash dummies. Tell them how they become crash dummies.
Well, I can say what I said in class, but I got all this expertise, all this wisdom up here. But it's always that kid, which is typically the good kid that live in the wine and cheese community who just want to hang around somebody. He's in the car with a lot of people, and they're going to put the pistol in the lap of the person with no criminal history, and you go out and do it, and you get talked into do it for whatever reason. But I guess with the crash dummy, man, one thing is that I just don't understand how, when I was y'all age, man, the only person that could talk me into doing something was a female. And y'all got dudes talking to y'all doing crazy shit. I mean, I don't understand what a guy can offer you to put a gun in your lap, man, and say, go do this. How many of you all at this table know a crash dummy? Real quick, raise your hand. What's a crash dummy? Real quick, Kamari, 15 seconds. What's a crash dummy, man?
Person who crashed out with no mind. Yeah, they ain't got no mental of their own. They doing whatever. They like a.
How you recruit them?
How you recruit them? You find the weakest link. You follow behind.
Wow.
You gotta offer him some drugs.
That's it? So you mean to tell me I can get you a blunt and you go,
Or some money.
that's it? We got all that. What else? Well, we don't have no weed. What else y'all got? We got money. What else? Because here's the thing. Here's my intervention. I don't get into the gang space because I don't have enough protection. All right? I never disrespect gangs or anything like that. But one thing I will do, just studying them, I kind of know how they move. We just match what they offer. You need money? We got money. You need jobs? We got jobs. You need some J's? We got J's. Whatever you need, we just match that. We match it. You need somewhere to stay? You need food? Everything that they're offering, we match it. And that is the secret to our gang intervention.
We were at DTL Law. Let's give a round of applause for that. Match what they give us. T.I. gave every last one of them $200 worth of gear at DTLR for Christmas. So everybody got some fresh shoes, some pants, and some jacket or whatever, and that's a way to match it so that they ain't got to go out there and do nothing else for it. But the crash dummy concept, so D.A. Willis, if my homeboy is shooting out a car window and I'm in the car, what are the charges for everybody?
Oh, they're the same.
The same, right?
They're the same. It's party to a crime. If you shoot somebody and kill them, you all charged with murder. It's party to a crime of murder, and the consequence is life. If you just shoot at them and miss, it's 20. So
Right.
the consequences are the same for everyone. And because you are airing so many places, I don't want to miss this opportunity. Mr. Davis, myself, Sheriff Labat, we cannot do this alone.
Right.
And so you have a whole community of wine and cheese district folks, people that look like me and people that don't look like me. And I just want to use this opportunity to say, put your money where your mouth is. We have got to start investing in these people. We have got to start investing in these men. These men are the ones that are going to carry us when we tired. And I'm getting tired. I got only 20 years or so left where we're going to be actively doing this. They're the ones that are going to take the next generation forward. And so when you see programs that work, and I don't stand up with all the programs, Mr. Dick, because City Councilman, because some of them just want to make their money and they don't care anything about them. Because what the entire table said is he's genuine. That's what they really said, is he's genuine. He really is going to take the money that you invest in the program and pour it back into where he wants to go. And so while I'm on YouTube and on Facebook and everywhere else, why don't you put an investment in something that can save them? Because if not, Sheriff Labatt and I, we're going to lock them up. And then they're no good to anyone.
Right.
And so I just would like to use this opportunity to tell those people that are watching, invest in something that works.
That is very important. Yes. Yes. We all want to see a solution to this, and it's going to take some money and some resources and some hard work. So I'm just going to throw out some things that, as we've been planning this, you know, I've done research, reading and studying and just knowing what people have said, but also, you know, surveying and asking people questions. So some of the ways to prevent youth crime, some of the frequently offered suggestions: just get more police officers, lock them up, heavier patrols in areas where they are. If they are always at, you know, if they're, you know, up at Lenox, we need to just throw 100 cops at Lenox. We need to show more strength. We need to, if they're at this place, Camp Creek Marketplace, by the movie theater, we need more police officers, more strength, and that'll teach them something. Prison is, hey, if you want to stop crime, just lock everybody up. More activities. You need to have more sports. I mean, I got youth boxing. I remember I created the midnight, you know, basketball league. But this year we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it in COVID last year. So, you know, but you have more activities, more sports. There's a lot of folks want arts and music. A lot of music is big in Atlanta, movies, etc. Alternative education. We talked about alternative school, but alternative to that alternative, you know, whether that's vocational. I'm gonna tell you, a person that's always making money in Atlanta, Georgia, is the HVAC dude. He always paid, right? Electricians, everybody, plumbers, they always pay. You know, technology training, IT, like I do, jobs, apprenticeships, internships, businesses, like you got the lawn care, awesome. Family support, you know, is it's helping the family, housing, you know, just things that alleviate poverty in the family to make people have another alternative. Then counseling, where we got our brother back there that's the counselor. He talked about trauma in a way, man, when you go there, like all the things that you've seen in your life. And when you've seen death, how you become desensitized to it, and how you might have had sexual assault as a minor, and how these things play out in your mind later. This brother helps a lot with that. And then less violence in music and social media and positive images. Like if you wake up every day and turn on the same radio and you hear the same music, you see the same images, and then you're addicted to social media, does that drive you to do some of these things? So I threw them all out. Are some of these wrong, or all of them is a solution, or, you know, what do you guys think? What do you think, Gary, on some of
One of the things that I want to just salute the Union City Police Department on, Captain Hodson brought me in to do this training on the officers on how to effectively communicate with African-American males. And that's one of the things that I want to do. And I think everybody knows, they feel like, even law enforcement, with all due respect, I love police officers, because if it wasn't for them, I couldn't be here today or be in Union City. But I want to just put myself in a position where we can do a training, or I don't like to use the word training because that means it makes you think that I'm smarter than you, but maybe a sit-down conversation with your officers. We videotape this on how to communicate with them by bringing them in there and say, hey, and the reason why I say this, because I know the way your plans are, you want to put officers out there in the community. Because when someone dials 911 or somebody goes onto a crime scene, a police officer has the ability to make a bigger impact before they even get to you, or before even they get to the DA's office. So we can train or have some communication with some of these officers, because number one, you know, most of them are getting their first experience from a male is the one who's locking them up, the one who's sending them to prison. So, man, let's get some communication, some dialogue with some officers.
Done. When you want to start?
We can do it. We'll talk about it tonight. I
Done.
promise you we can
I like
roll
it.
that out in February. I already
I
got
love
the
it.
literature. You just give me the space.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Good. To these brothers, would some of these prevent the guys from ever entering into a space where they could commit crimes? Or some of these are better solutions than others?
Yeah, prison not a solution.
Prison is not a solution.
It shouldn't be on the list.
I agree with him on that, and I want to go to the very bottom when it say less violence in music and social media. It ain't about the violence in social media. It's for, in music, it's for you to go and listen to it. So it's for you to fall for it. You feel me? It ain't what they talking. You don't got to just do what they talking about. It's for you to go and do what they saying, or just listen, like really deal listen to it and really like try to really deal be about their life and go about what they want to do and how,
And Dietrich, I see you amen into that. You want to.
The music is not made for you to go out and actually do what these people are telling you. They telling you the experience of what they did to get out of what they was in.
So it's a choice.
Exactly.
It's what's in your mind.
It's hard to. You guys have been at Next Level Boys Academy, so you understand that. But to the other 200,000-300,000, young people in Fulton County, how do they receive the music? And I'm I'm ATL down. I'm a hip hop connoisseur. I can listen to it and be like, that's what he did, and that's what she did. That's what they choose to say. How do you think others receive it? And then do they emulate? We had one young man that's here, can I call it, he makes music. And I remember we came to the thing, he had a stack of money, but then it was like he earned that money doing shows, right?
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
But it's a lifestyle. Some people see it as I can do the music. Some people see it as I can do the other things to get the money. So I guess I don't want to just wash over it, and I don't want to basically just upset the whole ATL culture, but I do think that, when you bring up music, you guys are trained to be able to be like, that's what that man do, but I ain't got to do that. That's for everything because you've been trained and you've been, you've learned. But I'm trying to figure out,
Let me go to the jobs, apprenticeships, internships, man. What is working for us, man? You give these boys something to do and to make money on top of that. That's one of the things I just thank Walter Jordan for. He's been very resourceful at Next Level by helping these young men get jobs, man. So jobs, apprenticeships. And I'm telling you, and I know I said this earlier, we danced around it. These boys can ride on the back of a trash truck and connect a trash can. Though there are some jobs in the city that a lot of adults are doing.
Yeah.
These young men could do that.
Okay.
I'm telling you. So I think we got to look at the job requirements. You got to give a little wiggle room on felonies, because if we keep handicapping them with these felonies, man, who's going to work? Because they're getting hit upside the head with a felony at 16 or 17 years old, and then you put it in your job description. So now let's not us be codependency to their failures.
Right.
Because if you're in position to reframe and revamp that job description, I think we should take full advantage of that, man.
I like that. We can definitely do that with some of the city jobs, but let's real quick shift into the PAT 3 program that back then when he was Chief Pat Labat at the city jail, the city detention center, now he's gonna replicate that program now as sheriff across Fulton County. Give a brief highlight of that program, which is similar to what you're talking about, training individuals for jobs.
So one of the things we did at the city was create the PAT 3 program, which is preparing adult offenders to transition through training and therapy. So we partner with the State Department of Corrections, understanding that, to your point, we need to give people a way to fish themselves and at the same time earn that sense of living. And it was about changing lives. So we partnered with the State Department of Corrections. These young men, and of all ages, came into the city jail where they lived, but they became city employees. And so they began to work on their retirement while they were incarcerated. But those soft skills, we had an opportunity with the state, partner with Urban League of Greater Atlanta, and really figure out what they needed individually. And so with the program, which, by the way, we are taking to the county, which, by the way, you learn from from people around you. So it was one class, and you hear Coach talk about the entrepreneurial spirit, et cetera. And I don't want Councilman Dickens to not think that I trademarked that, Pat 3, so I now own it. But that said, it's an opportunity for us to really be thoughtful about how we provide that training, how we provide the level of service. And then what it is about changing lives. So when a person gets out of prison, and that's the end 15 months of that sentence, not just a regular transitional house where we turn you loose to go look for a job during the daytime. We give you the practicality of having that job. And what's different about this is that and I've told you this before, I was on the campaign trail for 2 years, standing in the middle of Cascade, and this huge water truck stops. And the two gentlemen from the program get out. We're in the middle of Cascade hugging because it's about changing lives, right? And it's about the opportunity. And for us, we will continue that. We will have it at the county as well. But for us, it's about a cultural shift. These gentlemen became engaged in the community. They themselves start sponsoring other families. And so it is about breaking that cycle and continuing to go from there. So it's a wonderful program.
I mean, think about it. They work for the city. They learned the job. They start working in the water department for the city of Atlanta. And by the way, we moved everybody up to $15 an hour minimum wage in the city of Atlanta, thanks to legislation by yours truly. You got to plug yourself sometime.
Amen.
$15. So these individuals might have had a conviction, but they ended up getting a job that paid $15 an hour. So when they got out of the sentence that they were serving, they were ready to work. They working?
Well, not just ready to work. Instead of leaving with $25 in the bus ticket, most of them left with the average of $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000 in the bank and a place to live and their family support. So
we just got to do more.
It was groundbreaking.
And you're going to do that in the county, and we're going to do more in the city. And like you said, that was just the water department, and now we got public works, and we're going to move on to other things. Gary?
Yeah, let me say this, man. Whenever I get a platform like this, I just don't want to stop by and say anything that makes me a speaker. I'm a mentor. And I want to say this to you that's watching. If you have a son, and if you ever think my son is not that child, or my son would never do that, you got it twisted. So I want to invite you to just follow us on all social media outlets at Next Level Boys Academy. I'm nextlevelboysacademy.com and all this other stuff that my kids set up. But let me say this. If you have a son, do not ever put anything past them, because they live 3 lives, one at home, one in the community, and one with their homies. And if you ever underestimate them, they're going to try you. I just wrote my first book, self-published my first book, entitled Raising Him Without Him. It is a map that gives you a full understanding of your son. And what baffles me is when Miss D.A. Willis have somebody say, okay, let's save him, then you get here, and the first thing they say when you call the parent, he's a good kid. Well, he is, but he done shot at 15 people. Because here's the thing. You would never outguess them. You would never outthink them. They are planning while you're sleeping. They got more friends than us. We're old to our kids. You got to get them involved. One of the things I want to say is that there are multiple layers, and I think you all saw this, multiple layers of mentors at Next Level. We got the ones that's peer mentoring, the ones that's at this table that's doing crazy stuff. But the best way to get them right is to hold them responsible for somebody that's going to look up to them, is going to force them to do right. Then when you leave them, you got mentors that's in their 20s. We got mentors in their 30s. We got mentors in their 40s. There's multiple layers of that. But I advise you this, wherever you are in the world, Next Level Boys Academy is coming to your city near you. But please get them involved in the mentoring program. I beg you, because I'm telling you, you just don't know at what point that they're going to make that turn, man.
That's right. So as we get ready to close out and land this plane that we are on, there's a lot of audiences that we're speaking to, and I keep being mindful of it. When I had the spirit to pull us together, I was trying to do this back in December, but time ran short. But there's multiple audiences that we're speaking to. There's an audience that is in this metro Atlanta area that's like, this crime got to stop, so the answer is, let's lock it down, right? lock them up, and you know, Law and Order, put it on them. And they got their talking points. They got their ideology about how this goes. And in some cases they're right, and in some cases they're wrong. And then there are some people that says the system has flawed everybody, so let them go. Don't do nothing with them. They're victims of circumstances. Society has done everybody wrong, so you know, it's a free for all essentially. And then there's those individuals that are watching this with a careful eye that says, all right, what are the next steps? What are the solutions? How do I make sure I prevent the children that are in my life, the young men that are in my life? How do I prevent them from going down the wrong path? How do I make sure that the young men that I'm aware of that are already down the wrong path, how do I bring them into the fold? Next Level Boys Academy has been mentioned a lot here, and it is the best that I've seen. It is one of the programs that literally struck me and said, okay, this is. I've been looking for how to make some things happen and how to bring this to bear. There are others, and I'm not, you know, Gary ain't super duper man. He can't do everything at one time, but just rest assured, a lot of these young men had to serve some time. D.A. Willis is not sitting up here saying, oh, every single day and letting people go back out. Victims are real, and they deserve justice. The community does not need to have everybody that's committing crimes go right back out on the street without any kind of repercussions. It is very real. But what is also real is mental health, making sure that we talk to everybody about mental health and having their counseling. What is also real is having an opportunity for them, that they're gonna get a job when they get out of this, that they're gonna have some training while going through these processes, going through jail, that they're also gonna have some mentoring, some support, that they also have a DA that's historic, that looks like them, that feels like them in terms of understanding your plight. So you're seeing the makings of a solution set. You're seeing the makings of what's next to come. And so your time, your talents, your energy, your money, for, as y'all call them, the wine and cheese crowd, y'all gonna have a hashtag in a minute, hashtag wine and cheese, I know it. But that crowd and all of the above, the business community, everybody says we want a safe, quality of life in Atlanta. Well, it's gonna take us all investing. We live here together. If one thing that COVID taught us is what happens to me can just as easily within 6 feet happen to you. And sometimes it happens quicker than you think. And so I think that we now share this life together. And when we're sharing this life, we got to share in the consequences of all those around us and lean into it. So that means that those that are hiring folks, you can't only hire from that one side of town. You got to look at, you know, all types of talent, non-traditional talent. We had Home Depot on the last call, and they're gonna interview some of these guys to hire them, right, Gary? Those are some jobs. So where there's training programs, it's good to hear young man is at Kennesaw State. It's good to hear these things. It's good to hear Louisville. It's good to hear these changes that are happening, these opportunities that these guys have. They don't happen in a vacuum. We're gonna all have to contribute to saving lives, and they're saving the lives that are in this room, the lives that are on the street, and the lives of hopefully the people that would be victims of crimes that could be committed if we didn't get ahead of it like we're starting today. So we're gonna have future conversations. Stay tuned and stay aware. And is this Gathering Spot gonna come up and tell us something? Because we are so thankful for y'all for hosting us here today. Give the Gathering Spot a round of applause.
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. Thank you, Dickinson's for putting this together. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm Brianna Rogers, the member director here at the Gathering Spot. I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming out. And also, we do have opportunities here right now at TGS for those who are interested. Y'all, we are looking for some young gentlemen here at TGS, so please connect with me after this is over so that we can get you guys here at TGS. So thank you guys so much for coming out.
Man, you want a job. That's what's up.
Thank you.
Let me tell you why you want a job at the Gathering Spot, because there's all these cool professional people, and there's a lot of nice women that come working in here and hanging out in here. So it's a great environment to be around, and people are going places, starting businesses and all that stuff. So get a good job here at the Gathering Spot. It's a good place to be. Any final words from you guys?
My final word would be for those that are listening to get involved. I mean, the young men have told you what they need. They need mentors, be a mentor. They need resources, be a resource. Make sure that we bring them with us so that they can lead us.
The next time y'all post something on social media that kids are all over the place on Camp Creek and not post an alternative to them hanging out at Camp Creek and something else to do, you're part of the problem. The next time y'all post something, there's 300 kids at Atlantic Station that just wilding out with nothing to do, and you not post where they should be in the city other than there, you are part of the problem. Stop posting stuff about these kids without giving them an alternative. What are they gonna do? They got a place to hang out. So if you want to keep them off of Camp Creek or from Atlantic Station, create a recreational center. Give them something to do, because if you don't, they're going to create something on their own. And black people like to gather, so it's going to be a crowd of them. Give them alternatives. Stop degrading us by putting all this negativity on social media. That's all I want to say.
And I love Coach, but take responsibility for your children. If you dropping your 13-year-old off at Atlantic Station, shame on you. And at Camp Creek, I'm coming to see about you. I'm holding the parents accountable. Let me be clear. So I appreciate that, Coach.
Well, let me just say this. Now, that part is true. But before you go see about them, can we put something else in place, good old Sheriff?
Let's
Thank
do
you,
it.
man.
I agree with that. And I love the midnight basketball. Hopefully we can get back to that.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love that. But with respect to coronavirus, please stay masked up. And please, when you have an opportunity, get your vaccine. There's an opportunity for us to get back to some level of normalcy so we can have midnight basketball and the things that will keep those programs going. So absolutely. And thank you for hosting, right? It takes this kind of leadership for us to continue the conversation, and certainly to the people on the dais, right? I wouldn't be here without, well, my wife first. Y'all not gonna trick me. Raise your hand, darling. Y'all not gonna trick me.
Good job, good job, Noob. Noob, you're supposed to open up with that one. We'll talk about it later.
See, but my sister, my brother, and certainly to you, we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, everybody. And listen, there's a lot of mentors back here. All of you are special people, because every time I've been engaged in this, y'all have been there. And so continue. I mean, I know you got families of your own, and you up here holding it down for other families. And again, like I said, we're not trying to say that all crime in the city is youth crime. This is about just one way to change a life, to be able to make our community better, and that's by embracing these youth, because as you see, a proper intervention, proper mentoring, and a whole lot of dedication to seeing people's lives change, you can in this short amount of time see somebody's life change. So everybody, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you guys again soon.